I'm especially glad that you've learned to use your sense of humor for good instead of evil. Will Hutchinson. So, I'm not sure many of you know this, but I've been a teammate of Tim's for almost 10 years now. The first and only club team I joined, Tim was part of, and I followed his footsteps when I decided to attend Bowdoin only a year after. In these 10 years, I've been able to see Tim grow as a swimmer and coach. While many aspects of his life at home and at school have changed since I first started swimming with Tim, I can assure you that a few things have not changed. First, his sense of humor. Tim's ever-expanding knowledge of memes and jokes has resulted in anyone around him to get wrecked and constantly both full of laughter. Next, Tim's work ethic has seen him break school records and excel in the classroom during his 4 years at Bowdoin. Finally, Tim's leadership and personality has unified the men's team and brought the entire swim program closer as a whole. Outside of the pool, it's important to note that Tim has become one of the leaders on campus through his work in Res Life and many other groups. Tim is one of the most inclusive and supportive people I've ever known, and any swimmer or classmate who's been around Tim can attest for this. For all this, I can say one last thing. Brad, our teammates, and Bowdoin will greatly miss you. Tim, so let's make this last semester a memorable one.
Hi, everyone. Thank you to Hutch. It's already so hard. I'm going to get through this. We're all going to get through this. Thank you to Hutch for the kind words, and thank you to Brad for the words. So I am a terrible writer. I think I'm a decent speaker, but I wrote a speech, and I recited it to myself a couple of times. I have this nice full-body mirror in my bedroom. I decided it was terrible. I ripped it up, and so I thought, what's a unique way to kind of discuss my journey through swimming? And I was listening to some music, and I thought, why not do a rap? How many of you actually thought that I was going to do that? That was my opening joke. Just to be clear. I do have some bullet points, so we're gonna get through this. My freshman year here as a swimmer was defined in many ways in the moment as some extraordinary personal successes that I had in the pool. There are things that I held on to dearly at the time and still think are part of my identity, but as I've come around and as I'm a senior now, I think back to those times and I think a lot more about the upperclassmen that were on the team who took me under their wing and showed me all these different aspects of Bowdoin beyond just swimming, taught me how to be a more wholesome person, and really embodied me with some of the values that I really hold dear and hope that I've passed on in some facets to people that are on the team now. I know he's not here, but I don't think I could ever have given this speech without giving a nod and a kudos to Alexander Jeffrey Tugis, who, in many ways, yeah, we can give him applause. Let's clap. Alex Tugis, in so many ways, was my idol and my role model. He continues to be so. We've stayed in great touch. He continues to make fun of me for the Nerd Game Club, and will always be one of the most cherished members of the distance group that I've ever been a part of. The next 2 years of my swimming career here at Bowdoin, sophomore and junior year, I think in many ways were defined by shoulder tendonitis, dealing with injury, that kept me out of the pool a lot more than I wish I could have. Made me readjust expectations for championship meets, made me readjust expectations for the contributions I was going to make as a team member. But that was a really valuable lesson in itself. Especially thanks to Brad's guidance, I learned in a lot of ways, I think, how to contribute outside of the pool during those 2 years. I think I grew a lot more as a supportive teammate, and grew a lot through just watching other people swim. And I spent a lot of time watching other people swim. And I think that going through that, dealing with an injury, having to kind of readjust a lot of my life at Bowdoin, brought me into this year with such an incredible appreciation for the sport, an appreciation for all of you, and an appreciation for my own physical health. And I can say without a doubt that I don't think I've ever cherished swimming as much as I have this year. It has just been such a wonderful experience. I feel so close to so many of you, and I'm excited by the fact that even though there's some of you who I'd like to get to know more, we still have plenty of time. I think this is a good time to echo something he said. The men's team jokes are pretty dumb, but I like that. I like that a lot. And you guys, especially, have made this an incredible year for me. Each and every one of you, I think about a lot, and I cherish, and you all mean a lot to me. Just keep reading through this. I think one of the best things that happened to me at Bowdoin was that thanks to the program that we have here and the people that raised me in a sense, both my parents in the upper classroom and the people I've got to interact with, that I've been able to grow outside of just the swimming environment and learn to interact with all different groups and people on this campus. It's given me this truly deep appreciation for everything that Bowdoin is, all the people that attend this school, and all the people that you are. And I think my token piece of advice that I wrote down is that I would implore all of you, with the time that you have left, to really dig into this community as much as you can and get as much out of it as you can, because it's a truly special place, one that you will probably not find anywhere else for the rest of your lives, unless you come back here and work at Bowdoin, which is my plan, actually. I have some thank yous. I want to thank every single member of the distance crew, both on the men and the women's teams. You've helped me get through some of the hardest practices of my life. And I think each and every single one of you, in more than one moment, has been my inspiration through getting through a set. You alone were the person that I thought of as, okay, this person is doing it, I can do this too. They're working hard, I'm going to work hard. This year especially, with the men's distance crew, Killian, Gabe, Dan, I don't have words for it. It's been so fun, and I think that that's such a great thing. I want to thank all of the assistant coaches, Caitlin, Amy, Alan, and Kathleen. Do you know what you all have in common? Your names all start with either A or C. This is important because Brad's name starts with a B. So there's this symbolism that they're always by his side. Think about that. That's right. It's true. I was staring at my notes and I noticed that. I was like, well, we should probably say something. I want to thank Kelsey because during those tumultuous times, especially junior year, where I wasn't really able to swim full swim practices and oftentimes had to swim in the diving lane, she only yelled at me, I think, I want to say 5 times, which is pretty good for Kelsey, I think. And all those times it was my fault, just to be clear. I was swimming too close to the divers. Yes, so thank you for that. And of course, thank you to Brad, who in many ways has enabled me to become the person I think I am today. He is a truly special spirit and a wonderful person and a great role model, and as much a part of my family as so many other people. So thank you for that. I want to thank my family that's in attendance, my Uncle Phil, my stepmom Frida, my mom, my incredible sister Julia, who is 17, a junior in high school, and a prospective swim recruit for the Bowdoin swim team. More long distance swimmers coming. Yeah. Okay, this is the hard part for me. So I think when I realized that this was a tradition, that the seniors were going to come up and give a wonderful speech, a thoughtful speech, I, like so many other people, like my mind is always racing. Oh, what am I going to say? What am I going to talk about? What am I going to focus on? One of the things that I never really considered and just assumed was that the people in attendance were always going to be there. And it's killing me right now that my father, Phil, is not in attendance right now. As some of you know, maybe more than I think, in early September, around the start of the swim season, my father suffered a very severe stroke that reduced him to a wheelchair with very little mental acuity. He couldn't talk, he could barely speak, he couldn't eat. And it immediately, both just the nature of our relationship and the dynamics that we have. I'm his medical proxy, that sort of thing. It immediately pulled me away from Bowdoin. Not physically necessarily, but I had to spend so much time every day just thinking about him and actually, in some ways, administratively taking care of him. And since then, he has gone through such an incredible recovery. I'll always have to look back to Thanksgiving break when I saw him for the first time. And I wasn't sure if he was ever going to be able to walk again, or talk, or eat, or live the life that he had worked so hard to give to me. But he has. He is doing so well. He has worked so hard, so many times, all alone, with no one to talk to. Nothing but the thought of his kids pushing him to do better. He is such an inspiration for me. And I stand here today so happy to tell you that he will be able to reclaim so much of the life that he lost. And so, I want to honor his spirit because he was such a driving force for me swimming. He was the person that never remembered any of my times. But he never asked about my times. He always asked, did you have fun? That was what mattered to him. He didn't care if it was a good race or a bad race, and he didn't know the difference anyway. But he would always be happy if he saw me smiling and laughing on the pool deck. And if I was able to say with a big smile, yeah, I did have fun. And I think that just emphasizing the fun, knowing that at the end of the day, there's going to be good and bad, but as long as there's fun, and as long as you can really enjoy yourself, that's what matters. And I think that if we can, as we march towards NESCACs, and so many of you are going to do some incredible things, and I'm so excited for you, but I know that NESCACs means disappointment, and it means challenging. And I just implore all of you, there will be fun, I guarantee it. Even in those dark, hard moments, there's fun to be found. And I am so excited to share those moments with all of you. So thank you very much.